Happy Wednesday, happy Wednesday. It's time for another What's She Making Wednesday. How is everyone today? We are going to be making a fun card using the beautiful Butterflies suite. So we will be using the beautiful Butterflies stamp set, the new hybrid embossing folder that we sneak peeked yesterday, along with the beautiful bouquet designer series paper. This comes 6x6. We used this on yesterday's cards. Let me show you some of yesterday's finished cards. If you missed it, you can go back for Technique Tuesday, where we shared embossing on designer series paper. And so these are some of the finished cards from yesterday, where I just ran that designer series paper through the embossing folder and got these beautiful cards. Okay, and then of course we will be using the coordinating dies to our stamp set. So I want to share today's card. It's almost like a fun fold with these dies. So we have our beautiful card here, and then it opens up with the time to celebrate sentiment. So let's get creating, and I will share some tips with you today on using all of these fun products. So the first thing, let's bring in some of our pieces here. So the first thing that I'm going to bring in is a piece of Berry Burst. So this is just a card base. Remember, if you want the measurements or the step-by-step instructions for all the things we'll be sharing today, I will have a free printable PDF tutorial just as a thank you to you for watching, for liking, subscribing, and sharing with your friends. It's got all the supply list, the measurements, and all the step-by-step instructions. So this is just a card layer, we'll call it, a card back. And then we're gonna take a piece of basic white, just a layer of basic white. And what I did is I pre-did a lot of this stuff for us just to save some time. But I took my basic white, I put it in my embossing folder, and I ran it through. And then what I got out of that was this lovely piece of embossed basic white. So you can see all the lovely details. You can, of course, run it either way, vertically or horizontally, to get your impression. And so before we attach this, we're going to adhere this here, but before we do that, I want to bring in my spritzing box. So this is just one of our Stampin' Up! Kit boxes that I have saved. And then inside I just put a piece of grid paper just to kind of absorb anything. And so we're going to take that piece of basic white, and we're gonna do something fun with it. So I love to spritz, and so this is one of our Stampin' spritzers. They come in a multi-pack, and they're just a few bucks. And I have mine labeled Wink of Stella. And so what I do is I fill an entire tube of Wink of Stella, I put in here, and then I add about halfway to the top, I add some 70% rubbing alcohol. And then you just shake it up, and what we're gonna do, let me find my spritzer end here, and we're just going to spritz the entire piece. So you'll notice it's wet right now, so we're gonna let that sit, but I wanted to do that. Good morning, Kathy. I wanted to do that so that you can see. So we're gonna use this piece in a second, but let me just set that aside. I love that spritzing. And then we're gonna do the same thing with a couple other pieces. So we've got our die cuts here. And so what I did was I took that beautiful bouquet paper. This is one of the sheets in there. It's the back side of it. I took it with this beautiful die cut here, this beautiful butterfly, we'll call it the detail die. I put that on this paper here and I ran it through and I got this beautiful shape. Isn't that lovely? And so we're gonna set this aside, bring that spritzer box back in, and we're gonna do that again to this piece. So you can absolutely color these pieces with your Wink of Stella, but what I have found is not only is the spritzing faster, but it gets every little bit of it. So you can see, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but it becomes very sparkly. And so it almost becomes like a shimmer paper when you do this. So we're gonna set all this aside, let it dry for, I don't know, a minute while we do our other pieces here and do some stamping. So this piece here is so fun. I wanted to show you these because if we take our embossing folder and we take this bigger die, this kind of outline die. So we have our stamps here and there is this big butterfly here. Well, this, when we stamp it, this is not full size here, but when we stamp it, it would cut this image out. But what is really fun is we can take this die and kind of nestle it in on this embossing folder. It's a hybrid embossing folder. And we can run it through our embossing folder just like that, and it's not only going to cut this piece out, but it's also going to emboss that image on there. So it's called a hybrid embossing folder because it embosses and die cuts at the same time if you want it to, or you can use the pieces separately. So you can use the die separate from the embossing folder. So it's a beautiful, beautiful way to use this set. Then, of course, there are some banner images. There are some other images that die cut, some other dies that die cut these images here, standalone ones. There are some layering outline pieces and some layering middles for our butterfly stamps, which is super fun. And then there is this beauty of a die. So this is a fun die that creates a fun fold. So what you can do is you can take, here is just a basic white thick card base, and what you can do is you can take this die, line it up at the top of your card. So you'll see there are some markings on the top of your die. Hopefully you can see that, but you will line those up with the top of your card and you will run this through your embossing folder, and you can do it two ways. You can do it one way like this and just have this beautiful butterfly outline as your card front, or you can close your card, run it through, and what you will get is this piece here. So you would see it would cut this part out, would toss that, and then you would pull this, and what it creates is a butterfly fun fold. Isn't that adorable? This is why I bought this set, was this die here, because I think it is so fun. I mean, there are so many things you could do with it. We had a kit at one time where the cards were all butterfly shaped, and this really reminds me of that. I loved it. So that is what we're gonna do today. So I've already pre-cut that for us. So we've got that piece that we will use, but this die is, to me, knocks it out of the park. Then I took that same die and did just a single piece. So this one doesn't open, but this is just a single piece from that beautiful bouquet designer paper. So we're gonna stamp on this piece. We'll set this one aside and we'll bring in a piece of grid paper here, and we're gonna use some stamps. So we've got our blocks here, and we're gonna use also two colors. We're gonna use Berry Burst and Fresh Freesia. So we'll start out with some Fresh Freesia. We'll open this up, and we're gonna open up our stamps here so that you can see them. So these are our stamps, and we're gonna use one of these butterfly wing detail stamps. That is what we will use first. So we'll just grab that onto our block here. We're gonna add some Fresh Freesia ink, and then we are just going to stamp these butterfly details, and we're just gonna do 4 of them. One for the top and bottom of each of the wing areas, right? Just like a butterfly has those pretty details. And all I'm doing is rotating my stamp so it's in the direction of our butterfly there. Okay, and then we're gonna close this up and we'll use our Berry Burst ink pad color. And this time we're gonna use the little dots. There are these little dot detail pieces. Grab that with our block. And then with this, we're just gonna go all along the outside, giving our butterfly here, this is why we need our grid paper, some fun dots. Our little spotted butterfly, right? So we're just going along, all along here, all along the outside. I'm just turning my butterfly. This is such a fun set for the spring, right? For the new year. And I'm just gonna put a few kind of down the middle here and in between our wings there. Just leaving the center kind of open. Isn't that beautiful? I love that. All right, now we've got one more thing to stamp, which is our sentiment. And so I liked the sentiment in here that says, time to celebrate. Time to celebrate. I thought you could use that for anything, right? In case you need me, I'm here is a great one. Hello, happy birthday, so thankful for you. Lots of great sentiments in there. So we're gonna use time to celebrate. Pick that up. And we're gonna bring in our little butterfly opening here, right? Our little fun fold. And we're gonna ink this up with that Berry Burst again. And we're just gonna stamp this right in the middle of our butterfly. And what I found was really easy is this little inset cut of our butterfly here. If you line that up with the time, then it goes perfectly straight across. So I loved that little tip as well. All right, well now we get to put this fun card together, and I get to show you a couple other little fun tricks here. So we've got our base that I showed you in the beginning. Let's bring in those pieces that have been drying so you can see, hopefully you can see that the camera will pick up some of that beautiful sparkly on the paper. And then the same thing with our beautiful detailed butterfly with all of those spritzed sparkles, right? All right, so let's grab some liquid glue. And the first thing we're gonna do is we're just gonna flip this over and we're gonna just adhere this to that card back. We'll just center that right on. There we go. And then we'll just hold that down. You can also take the back of a block if you want to just use that to kind of press, or even the back of your stamp pad, right? As long as there's no ink on it. All right, and then we're gonna take our opening piece here, and we've got that one that we stamped on, so we're just gonna add liquid glue to this piece. So for this one, I really recommend liquid glue because you really need that kind of wiggle room for this piece. So we've just got our liquid glue on there. We're gonna stick this right on top, and this is why we need our wiggle room, right? Because we wanna make sure that we line our butterfly up in all the right places so that it can still open and nothing is hanging over. So there we've got our opening to our beautiful butterfly card base, right? This is really the base. Okay, so then we're gonna take this and we are going to grab some Stampin' Dimensionals. So we wanna give this butterfly some lift here. So we're just gonna add these all around our butterfly here. Love our Stampin' Dimensionals. Love that it gives height, right? Height and dimension to our card. All right, that looks good. And we're just gonna peel the backs of this off. You could also use our foam adhesive if you don't want to, the sheets, if you don't want to peel off all the backings of these, but I don't mind. I love our dimensionals. All right, and this one, we're gonna line it up at the top here. So those top pieces, we're just gonna line up and center that right on the front of our card. So that creates our card opening. How fun, right? Okay, now we have this piece here, and I kind of like this piece to be a little bit loose, so we're not gonna adhere every piece of this down. But one thing I wanna do before we adhere it is I'm gonna take my bone folder and I'm just gonna use the side of it to slightly curl downward all of the wings of our butterfly. So that way it's not quite flat to the page, right? It gives it just a bit of dimension there. And then I'm just gonna take liquid glue, and I'm not gonna adhere the whole thing, but I'm gonna adhere the body, the middle of the body, and then just kind of like this middle piece. Not even the whole thing. So I'm just slightly going and just giving it kind of a little bit of adhesive kind of all along the middle of our butterfly. And I'm just gonna center this to the body and just kind of a little bit where I added that glue. So I like that it has a bit of height when we do that, right? When we curl those sides. All right, so I'm just kind of hold that body there for a second. There we go, so it's adhered. And that's really the basics of our card. We're just gonna add some bling, because you know, we need some bling. So I am using the purple sequins. They're kind of pink to me, but pink purple sequins. Pink and purple, I suppose. So I'm gonna use this darker purple here, and I'm gonna use the bigger ones. And so we're gonna actually put 7 of these. So we're gonna start here with the body, and I am just using the bigger ones for this. And so I will just go along this whole body here. So we've got 3, we've got 4, we've got 5, we've got 6, and one more for that odd number. I think we'll go lower for this one. And we've got 7. So just kind of in the straight line there to give us that middle of the butterfly. And that is our card. So look how sparkly it is with the center, but also with all that we spritzed. Remember, that's just our Stampin' Spritzer filled with an entire wink of Stella. Just take this middle off and unscrew the cap, and then you can just dump it right in. And then the other half is 70% rubbing alcohol. And you just shake it up, and then you're able to use your, you know, box or whatever to be able to spritz that and get all that beautiful shimmer and create really your own shimmer paper, right? So beautiful. All right, everyone. Well, it's time to celebrate. Happy What's She Making Wednesday. Hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks so much for liking, subscribing, sharing this video with your friends. And remember, you can find the free PDF printable tutorial on my blog tomorrow, or if you are a Buzz Bulletin subscriber, you will get that emailed to you tomorrow with all the step-by-step instructions, totally free printable PDF. All right, have a great day, everyone, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.